Welcome to Cinema Gulp, everybody. I'm Ben.
And I'm John, and this is our Scream Chug Show.
Here's how it works. With the help of our fellow cinema drunks, each one of us has the length of time it takes for the other to drink a frosty beverage to explain the film.
Welcome to my nightmare. Are you ready to scream? For the second time, Daddy Craven resurrects a slasher genre that had been dead and bled dry of all of its creative juices. Don't sleep on this iconic masterpiece of suspense and terror. This first stab at meta horror broke new ground while also writhing with gory glee in the bloody remains of classic slasher tropes. How sweet, fresh meat. Like many slasher icons of the past, the original Scream is the best, but it was followed up with a gut of rotten sequels and ripoffs. We get the fire started with Drew Barrymore in the most intense and iconic scene of any slasher film. Now, with Drew buried and no more, we meet the real protagonist, Sydney. Sydney and her boyfriend, Shallow Johnny, have a cringe-inducing movie conversation comparing their relationship to movie ratings. Every new film has one of these movie combos, and it always sounds like nails on a chalkboard. Speaking of nails, one thing this movie nailed, it was casting. Rose McGowan, Jamie Kennedy, and Matthew Lillard all bring a lot of energy and humor to their roles. Courtney, with the raunchy last name, makes friends with the big D, Dewey that is. Dewey becomes the heart, soul, and pincushion for the rest of this series. The only casting choice I would have cut was Arthur Fonzarelli as the principal, but the movie needed 17 red herrings, so I guess he fills the role. I love how much this movie references one of my favorite scary movies. Can you guess? No, it's Psycho, bitch! Killing your big-name stars early and lifting iconic lines of dialogue spoken by characters named Loomis. Oh, little Billy Loomis. I could have sworn I left you in a depth puddle dripping from the ceiling. Just because you lent your number 10 crop top to your girlfriend doesn't mean I wouldn't recognize you. Another far too familiar face is that Wes Carpenter fella playing Fred the janitor. That outfit ain't fooling anybody. You steal my look. You steal my kills. Welcome to prime time, Stu. And you steal my lines, bitch? Why don't you learn to show the ladies some respect? Time to sleep, bitch. I'll be waiting for you.
Holla Bloody Mary, looking eyes of the demon. When you see a nun like to keep screaming.
It's Scream 2, baby. This movie sucks. It's stab one time. A trend that won't get old during the duration of this series. It carries on the tradition of featuring characters on the posters who are barely in the movie. Jada Pinkett Smith is boring. She hates white people. She hates her boyfriend. So when she dies, who cares? Sydney is in college now. Joe says goodbye to his cockroach buddies and leaves the apartment to go to college and court a woman in the douchiest fashion and perform in one of the most cringe-inducing displays of self-involved affection in a school cafeteria that made my skin crawl.
Could you please show me your again?
Pacey leaves the creek and shows up on 2 or 3 scenes, partaking in probably the worst conversation ever about movies and sequels. Buffy is wasted in this movie, but is probably the best kill scene. The Noxzema girl, aka Rebecca Gayheart, continues her decade-long streak of playing college girls. Audrey Griswold is back from Vegas in a really short cameo. What is Randy doing at the same college that Sydney's at? He's supposed to be in film school. He's still the most likable and interesting character in the franchise, but unfortunately is killed off-screen. Roseanne's sister is one of the Ghostface killers. Okay, sure. I guess you have to try to recount which of the Ghostface killers was in what scene and scenario in order for anything to make sense based on her strengths and abilities to throw people around and trap them up. Was she the one that literally picked up Buffy and threw her off a rooftop? Justified himself, Timothy Olyphant is there, possibly the other only interesting character. Unfortunately, a really nice setup for a character that has nothing to do until the very end where he's revealed as Ghostface. I remember people saying, who is that? If the goal of Scream 2 is to showcase how shitty some sequels can be, it succeeds at almost every level. It's a shitty movie with no scares. It's bland. It's boring. I love you, Craven, but you were behind the wheel asleep on this one. After part 1, these movies forgot the undeniable essence of the mystery. After the first movie, the character is revealed as a Ghostface is just accompanied with a convoluted plot, questionable motives, and a terrible exposition dump. Billy's mom being the killer is a decent enough idea, but do we learn anything about her? Was she always the murdering type? Did he get it from her? Or did she just decide to become certifiably insane after finding out her son was a serial killer? I think the biggest offense of this movie is it tries to evoke the eerie tension and tone of the first movie by repeatedly playing Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds' Red Right Hand.
As if threequels couldn't get any worse, Wes Craven decided to try and top them all. We begin with Cotton Weary, the weird convict-turned-TV personality who apparently enjoys playing Ghostface-themed sex games with his girlfriend, quite possibly making him the creepiest character in this franchise. Sidney Prescott, meanwhile, is off living in the premise of a Lifetime original movie.
I don't have a whole lot of childhood.
That's an Amish matter.
We're making it the third film based on the film within the film Scream 1 versus Stab 1. And Lance Henriksen being the producer of said film and doing a great imitation of Harvey Weinstein, which is particularly ironic considering that Weinstein is one of the producers of this film. And all of the ditzy bimbos playing the characters of the Scream franchise, because apparently Wes Craven thinks the film series is so popular at this point that if we just make a film about all the characters playing themselves, then it'll just be super popular because we're just out of ideas at this point. You even have the actors within the film commenting on how bad the Stab script is, which is just a reflection of just how bad this current script is, and it's not clever. Sorry, it never has been. Even with the Jay and Silent Bob cameo to try and make it more relevant, which it really isn't. And Patrick Warburton playing a self-serious version of his character from Seinfeld, which fits because apparently the film within the film is filming on the same stage that Seinfeld filmed on. And then in apparent foreshadowing for the fifth film in the franchise, we have Dewey living in a trailer, serving as consultant for other people's scary movies and trying to help them get through the script. But apparently, that isn't really much to move this story forward either. We have to have a whole Scooby-Doo type vibe, which hasn't really been the vibe of the Scream films at all, but hey, it makes for edgier type of Scooby-Doo stuff than the Velma show. You have to have arguably the most contrived plot point yet, with Randy's sister showing up to show a tape of Randy telling people how to survive, because apparently he felt it was worth spending time telling other people how to survive than trying to, maybe survive himself. Oh, and Patrick Dempsey shows up in a kind of unnecessary role because the movie needed sex appeal and nobody else had any in the script.
You sit at my house!
The villain is revealed to be somebody who's apparently kickstarts the events of the entire trilogy by way of Hollywood debauchery. A Hollywood gangbang setting this whole thing in motion. Particularly odd given Wes Craven is a staunch opponent to movies creating psycho killers. But apparently, I guess he feels he's being clever by having that be the springboard for the entire trilogy. Who knows? This whole thing's out of ideas by this point. You even have a climax set in a producer's party house with just a bunch of random kills, in which if you pay really close attention, you can realize there has to be 2 Ghostface killers for this movie to make sense. But apparently the script leaked online to a chat room with only 10 people in it. I guess the producers back then didn't realize that that's not going to affect your movie-going audience, and so they just rewrote the whole script without even fixing it on the fly. Not really making any sense. It shouldn't make any sense, because that's Scream 3.
With a kiss so poisonous, poison delirious, lying on the motel bed. Said I guess
Scream 4, the sequel that took over a decade to be made, and it was so good it actually killed Wes Craven. The call is coming from inside the movie. Uh-oh, it's meta. Teens watching teens in a movie get killed, referencing themselves and the genre stabsies. Double meta stab 6, stab 7. Blondes on a couch, watching blondes on a couch. Blondes like meat. Noises in the house, ring, landlines, more annoying cell phones. You've got to move. Someone named Marnie gets stabbed. Nice bitch cock reference. Welcome home, Sydney. Let's celebrate PTSD with lovely decorations. This town has no trauma, only royalties. Dewey is still a cop. Hasn't he heard of disability? Didn't he call Saul? What's my favorite scary movie? Garfield. So many lovely teens at school. Wish I could put them all in a sleeping bag and take them home. Oh look, it's anemic Home Alone relative with long hair and his friend Camerahead from Hellraiser 3, direct-to-video Hell on Earth. The phone call is coming from inside the trunk. Gale Weathers catfighting with Alison Brie. Get me some crackers, a bottle of red wine, and some toilet paper. Sheriff Dewey, savant memory book reader, Knows pages from Sydney's book like a televangelist knows the Bible. Only in the stab capital of America would a woman in a pencil skirt feel safe alone in a dark parking garage. Cameras are everywhere, the killer is making the movie. Welcome to prime time, bitch, as my friend from the night shift would say. Yeah, Anthony Anderson is about as funny as asbestos in baby Jesus manger. Everyone else is all over the place hanging out, and they continue to binge drink, stab at home, his cinema, Gulp style. It's a ripoff. Then the lips of nerds don't converge, and they live to be stabbed another day. A girl named Kirby doesn't let Macaulay chalk skin in. She has short hair and sucks just like the pink Nintendo character. She does, however, know Jason, me, uses a machete. Oh no, Rory Foreskin and Jill, the relative, went up the hill, and then there were a lot of stabbings. Cousin envy is real. Jill Roberts, the Ash Williams of Woodsboro. There's self-harm and slapstick and hurting all going around. I've never seen a horror movie before that ends in a hospital. Rookie mistakes are made. Bedpan violence. Dewey again suing for disability. Franchise clause activated. Then the movie ends with a jolting 300 Jills straight in the noggin.
Yo.
What's up?
So Scream 5. Or Scream. I don't even know what to call this one. So this time, Wednesday Addams answers the phone, and she's not taking any shit from no one. No emotion. My guess is the Thing is the killer. Scream continuing to be the only franchise trying to keep landlines a thing. This movie gets bonus points for bringing up It Follows. The killer says that Sydney is in every movie except for the last one. Foreshadowing anyone? Did they already know they weren't gonna pay Neve Campbell to be in the next movie? So there's a fetish for hurting Wednesday Addams, but not killing her. Boy, did she get fucked up in this movie. But not dead. Oh, look at the sheriff from part 4 that sucks at her job. Oh, fuck, she's dead. All I want to know is, did Dewey have to call C-A-L-L-A-T-T?
C-A-L-L-A-T-T. C-A-L-L-A.
His sister, that the series completely forgot about, apparently lives on his mantle. Or at least her ashes do. The best thing about this movie is listening to the original cast talk to each other. For 2 seconds. The sushi lovers in this movie become the sushi. Bada bing! Are Letterman jackets still a thing? They sure are in this movie. Gail no longer feels like Gail. But hey, character growth. The chemistry between Gail and Dewey feels like maybe they were married and then divorced since the last time we saw them. You know you're old when they have to de-age the poor man's Johnny Depp. Too cool to talk to Cinema Gulp, Skeet Ulrich. Dickhead. I have officially aged out of this series with this new cast. I remember when Scream movies were literally made for me. Not anymore.